Hello, my name is Trey Francis. I am a screenwriter and an actor, and welcome back to my channel. Please consider subscribing if you are new here and hitting the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post a new video. Also, hit the like button and leave a comment down below to join the conversation. And let's get into this review. So, this is going to be an Insecure review for season 4, episode 8. It was titled Low Key Happy. um with the world that's going on right now, like this is actually like a good sort of like this was like a good sort of like escape, if you will, for 30 minutes. But it was titled Low Key Happy. The director was Ava Bukowski, and the writer is, I should say, Natasha Rothwell, whom, as we know, plays Kelly on the show, who provides a lot of comedic relief, and it's just, go watch anything that she's in. She's like the funniest person in it. Love her. So the opening image of this is that we see Lawrence. He's at this bar, right? This crowded space, and as we recall from the previous episode, after that awkward exchange with Molly, he got on the phone, he called someone, and I think he left a voicemail basically saying like, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. I've been trying to meet up with you. Can we kick it? Can we shit?" No, I'm kidding. But I've been thinking about you, and can we go for coffee or whatever? This ain't no coffee because this is clearly a bar. This late night, and you know what you're doing if you invite me out somewhere late night. I know what you're doing too. But anyways, he's at this bar. He's sitting there by himself. He checks his breath. It's bad, so he pops a Tic Tac. In walks Issa. We see this like sea of like muted people, right? Like everyone's in like these dark sort of like monotone colors. Lawrence is even though he looks very good in what he's wearing, he's only in this white and black jacket, whatever the case may be. In walks Issa, and this sea of like muted colors and this beautiful red fit. Like this is just gorgeous, just beautiful. And Issa is stunning, stunning. So in she walks, and of course she could barely get 2 seconds in without falling on her face. And I was just like, is this a dream? But then I was just like, nah, this is true. This tracks for Issa. I was like, I don't think it's a dream. And unlike the first and second episode when she kind of woke up out of something happening to her, this was very much so her life. So she gets up. Lawrence goes to help her. She needs a moment. So she gets up. She finally comes and joins him at the bar. So Lawrence has his drink already prepared for Issa because he knows what she likes, right? They used to date. And Issa's like, oh, that's not my drink anymore. My new drink is this. And I think it was Prosecco and whiskey. I think Prosecco with a splash of whiskey was her old drink, and now she's doing Prosecco and vodka. She's on to Prosecco and vodka, right? So this is signifying for Issa like a change. She's like, maybe I've changed, you know? So then Lawrence asks Issa about the block party, and of course Issa was like, it was good. Like I did that shit. Like she's big in herself. She feels confident. She feels good about the success of her block party, which it was very much so a success, despite the little, at the end, the little part where her and Molly, everything else was a success. It went pretty much as best it could have gone, I feel like. And so, right. Lawrence apologizes for not coming and for not showing up, and which I thought this was messy of Issa to have invited him. She always messes with somebody's man, because we didn't find out until the day of the block party that through Condola, right, that her and Lawrence had broken up. So how Issa invited somebody's man when just a few episodes ago earlier, it would have been too uncomfortable, right, if Lawrence showed up to the mixer, and so Condola told him not to come. So I'm like, Issa still invited people's man and stuff and contacted people's man behind their back without their wishes. So yeah, she messy. But anyways, Issa, so we find out that tidbit, and then Lawrence asks about Molly or whatever the case may be, and Issa's like, just like, oh, well, Well, first Issa says like she heard about what happened between him and Condola, right? And that they broken up. And Lawrence is like, oh, we don't gotta talk about that. So then Lawrence asks about the block party. That went well. He asked about Molly, and Issa's just like, oh, well, we don't fuck with each other anymore. He goes on to ask about why, and Issa's just like, well, we don't gotta talk about that either. So they both. So it's not like, what are we gonna talk about, right? They got the thing that would make it awkward out of the way because they neither one of them want to talk about it. So now they're going into a different direction, and they're about to get up out of here because now it's loud. It's the night of a Lizzo concert. I guess everyone came there to pregame, whatever the case may be, because they're downtown. So I'm assuming she's going to be performing at the Staples Center and out in LA. And so they decide to get up out of there. So they go outside. Lawrence orders them an Uber or whatever the case may be, or a Lyft, whatever, and it's like the black Uber, and so it's very nice. I've ordered those a few times, and it is a pretty penny. So Issa's like joking, mocking him or whatever the case may be, and he's like, well, maybe I'm a changed man too. So they get inside the Uber. They wanted it to be a quiet person because I don't be liking people be talking to me either. Sometimes I guess it'd be okay, but I always get in their car with my earphones in. That's the universal signal of don't talk to me. I don't I don't get it, but without fail, whenever I get in with my earphones in, they always want to talk. And I'm just like, but like my music though, like Kaylani's playing. But anyways, so she starts talking and she's asking them like, oh, is this your first date? And Lawrence is like, nah, they ain't what this is. They ain't what this is. And so she goes on to say, oh, so y'all got that real strong black love that we all love to see. And Lawrence is like, they ain't what this is either. And Issa's like, oh, we're looking for a quiet ride. You know what I mean? And so the lady asked, like, well, are you married? And Lawrence was like, nah, like, they ain't happen either. Like, I tried to do that. However, it didn't happen. And the lady was like, or it hasn't happened. And the lady was like, well, do it right now. Like, the lights are about to turn green. Do it right now. And they're like, nah. So then, where am I at? Sorry. Losing my train of thought. So then, now they're at the restaurant downtown. They're in downtown LA. They're at this spot that Issa used to always, I guess when they were in their relationship, their 5-year relationship, Lawrence can never muster up the money to take her out to. So they're at this restaurant that Issa used to always like kind of send Lawrence pictures of, basically giving him hints like, take me here. He couldn't afford it or whatever case may be, so they never got to go. So they get there, Lawrence peeps that Issa's been here before, and he asks her, well, have you been on dates here or whatever the case may be? And Issa's just like, well, like, yeah, but it was nothing serious. And Lawrence is just like, wait, hold on. We know each other. We don't have to this don't have to be awkward, right? Like, we can just talk. We know each other. We don't have to walk on eggshells. So they both agree it's going to be a night of honesty. But when you agree to something like that, it's going to be, it can go one or two ways. People are going to be honest and people are going to get upset, or people can be honest and you can heal from that honesty, right? You can listen to the person and actually heal through it. A lot of people, they hear honesty and they get upset, but that's another story. So Issa's just like, well, in spirit of honesty, why don't you tell me what you said you wanted to tell me, right? So of course, the moment is going to be interrupted because we can't get it right away. So the moment's interrupted because the server comes over and is like, hey, we have your table ready, so, I can seat you. So they go over to the table. They're looking at the menu. Of course, Issa knows that she likes because she's been here a few times. With TSA Bay. That's who she's been here with. But anyways, she's been here with TSA Bay before, so she knows what she likes. Lawrence is stumbling all over the map. Or over the menu. So the waiter comes back, Issa orders for both of them. She knows his drink, she knows her drink, her new drink, and she knows she picks out what they're gonna have for the table. And Lawrence, you can say that he's impressed by this. He even says like, oh, I like this, whatever the case would be. So Issa then goes back, she questions him again, like, hey, so what's up? Like, what did you want to tell me? So Lawrence says he wonders what would have happened if they stayed together. And if he questions whether he gives up too easily on things, right? Which Issa confesses that she wishes that he hadn't given up on them. And so then Lawrence goes on to ask you, well, then why Daniel? You know, it could have been anybody. Why Daniel? And Issa's like, well, it couldn't have been anyone. It was going to be Daniel. And he's just like, okay, well, why? And she goes on to say, well, you know, Daniel showed up. I'm going to say her line because she said it better than I can do it. She goes, he just popped up and gave me attention at a time when you weren't. Which I was just like, ooh. You know what I mean? That's, you know, we've seen this, we've heard this all before, right? This is nothing new. This is not a new scenario. This is not a new situation. We've all heard when someone seems like they're not invested in the relationship, the other person go creeping. So I creep. We got all these songs. we got all these songs where people talk about how they go and they creep and do this and this and this based off of you either doing your shit because you're doing it too, and or you sort of neglecting them and they feel like, well, I needed to feel a type of way and you weren't making me feel that type of way, right? So I said my heart broke for Issa because I know that feeling all too well, but then my heart also stopped for Lawrence because those were gunshots. Like, you know, you can't tell me different. Like, you weren't there. And so yeah, he popped up and he broke my back in, and that's just that. So I also made a note that if you pause the episode at the 10:47 mark, you can see the stupid look on Lawrence's face. So Issa goes on to say, it's not an excuse, but it felt good to feel wanted. And I'm just like, ain't that what we all want? Like, it broke my heart when she said that, because I'm just like, I'm a hopeful romantic. Like, you'll hear me say that a lot because I write about romance, and like the genre I write in is like dramedy and drama, but mostly dramedy or whatever, like a half-hour dramedies. And so I love romance, and a lot of those have that in those type of shows. And yeah, we all just want to feel wanted. And if someone, someplace, some situation don't make you feel that way, I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting up out of here. And so I feel like that's the most honest I feel like Issa has been in a while these last few episodes, because we still waiting on her to have pie time. I mean, at least I am. You know, they were supposed to have pie time. That was supposed to be honesty between her and her friend Molly, and she didn't make that work. And so now they're at a place where she keeps referring to it as, I don't fuck with her no more. But it's just like, you could have had this conversation and you wouldn't be in this place that you're in right now. But that's another story. So, I wrote in my notes, I said, don't stick around if you don't get this feeling from the people you hang with, play with, work with, lay with. Like a little Dr. Seuss for you. If you don't feel wanted in a space, in a place, around a certain faces, get the fuck up out of there. And that's just on period. You'll stay way happier about it. This basically is like a lesson in discernment, right? Discerning whom is there for you and discerning who is not. And if the person's not there for you, get the fuck from around them. So then, at this point, like, I was noticing the camera work in this particular scene because I was just like, the camera work, the storytelling, like the beautifulness of it all, the filmmaking of it all, right? Like, when they were going back and forth, you would see Lawrence state his point in the shot by himself, and then Issa state her point in the shot by herself, and they were going back and forth like this. And whenever one of them would drop a bomb, right, an explosion, you would see both of them in a still together, and both of their reactions at the same time, which I thought was like beautiful storytelling, because it was just like a tennis match. And then when someone, gets an ace or a winner or whatever the case may be, they go out so you can see both people during that moment, right? So you get a reaction shot real quick, and then you go out and you see both people in that moment. And so it was just beautiful storytelling, because you want to see how they both react based off of the truth that was just spoken, right? Remember, this is no bullshitting. Honestly, like, we don't got to make this awkward. Let's not walk on eggshells. Let's just tell the truth, which is what we're seeing happening right now, right? So, excuse me. So then, Lawrence was like, things were that bad between us, and Issa's like, yes. And niggas always don't be noticing when things be bad. I'm like, yo, now, like, wow, I'm the only one who can notice, who notices this, but you don't. You know what I mean? Shit like that be pissing me off. Because I'm just like, we both got eyes. We both got, you know what I mean? Like, open your fucking shit up. But anyways, Issa hit and went. I was just like, well, damn, because I don't know if I've ever done this before, but she was like, sometimes I would drive around after work just to avoid coming home, and I was just like, now that gotta hurt, because if you don't want to come home to, you know what I mean, like, damn, you know what I mean. So that really lets you know that they were not on the same page. But then Issa goes on. She says, I still, at that time, right, I still wanted to be with you though. And Lawrence was like, well, we were trying, like a part of you must have wanted to like fuck that up, right? And Issa goes, well, I was devastated. And Lawrence he had this look on his face where he's like, I don't believe her. And I was just like, I don't believe you either. In that moment, you weren't devastated. Like you were having a good time with Daniel. But anyways, so I wrote in my notes that you can feel devastated, but I'm gonna need you to talk to me or break up with me. But to cheat on me, it's a no, ma'am. So Issa says that she was scared that they would fall back into their old pattern, right? And Issa also reveals to us, she was like, Lawrence, we didn't talk, we didn't go out, and we didn't have sex. And I was like, two out of three of those things is a deal breaker. Like we must talk, and and not quote unquote having sex, but like the touch. Like my love language is touch. Like I need that in my life. And if you ain't providing that, then it's a no for me. So I was like, y'all ain't talking, y'all ain't going out, which you don't gotta go out. Like I see, if you're in a certain space, you don't need to be out, right? But and y'all ain't having sex. Like that's so you know, you can't wonder why she didn't go. She went and found something else because you weren't doing anything, literally, right? It was a bum. So Issa said, you didn't want me, Lawrence. And I was just like, oh. My heart was broken when she said that, just because I was just like, I feel like a lot of us have felt this. Regardless of how long it's taken us to realize it, we've all felt unwanted. Like, you didn't want me. Like, you weren't checking for me. You weren't looking this way. Like, you weren't touching me. Like, you weren't, you know. Sorry, I'm thinking about Randy when you touch me. But anyways, so Lawrence was just like, after she said that, Lawrence was like, well, watching you go to work daily was a daily reminder that he had nowhere to go, right? That he had nothing to do. And I wrote, this is what you call a man's insecurity, because this is something that I only hear really men be insecure about. Like, women don't be insecure when men go out, and you know, and I understand, like, this is a very antiquated, like, it's a very traditional way of thinking about things, especially roles in a relationship, heteronormative hetero relationship, right? Where the man is the provider and the woman is, you know, supposed to be taken care of, and yada, yada, yada. That can still happen in a relationship, but it doesn't mean that in order for you to feel like a man, and in order for you to get up and build yourself up and go out and feel confident enough to get a job and make shit happen for yourself, that the woman has to lower herself in order for you to do that. It's like, fuck no. Like, be man enough to understand that maybe right now this woman is the breadwinner, she's the provider, and you still need to get up and find you a job and be, you know, your own success. You know, exhaust some of that potential, because you're holding on to all yours very tight. So then Issa asked Lawrence about, like, did he really buy a ring? And Lawrence was just like, yeah, like, I really had a ring, or whatever the case may be. And Issa looks down and he clowns her about looking stupid, you know. He says, oh, you realize you ain't shit. And Issa was like, well, I'm the shit now. And she basically tells him, you missing out. And Lawrence is like, oh, yeah? He has that look on his face like, oh, okay. So it's like this come hither, this kind of luring, this allure. You know, she was pulling him in. So then Issa excuses herself to the restroom, and Lawrence pulls out his phone, and we see that Condola's hit him up. And she got a certain way of doing that, showing up when she's unwanted. But anyways, she's texting him on his phone and basically saying, hey, I know we agreed to a different time and a different, you know, but can you come over tonight? And Lawrence is just like, well, I'm in the middle of something, so I'll hit you up afterwards. So then Lawrence and Issa kind of walking down the street after dinner, and here comes TSA Bay, loud and for no reason. So Lawrence introduces himself, and he asks, and TSA Bay, why was TSA Bay's girlfriend named Mazda? I hollered when I heard that, because I was just like, you know, first I thought it was gonna say Mercedes. So it was just like, they always throw around this name, but the fact that they gave her Mazda, I've never heard anyone with the name Mazda, and I doubt that any other writers who participated in breaking this story either felt that they've never heard of someone named Mazda either, but that shit was hilarious. But anyways, um, Lawrence basically asked, like, how do they know each other? And TSA Babe was like, well, we used to fuck. We used to hook up. So that's embarrassing. Issa's embarrassed. But then he invites them to the art show that's going on because his girlfriend, Mazda, her sister has art at the show. And you should come down to the art walk and you can see all the art from different artists, right? So Issa asks Lawrence if he wants to go when TSA Babe and his girlfriend leaves. And Lawrence sort of just like, he kisses her on the cheek and he's like, well, you'll have to let me know how it is. And he walks off. And so I'm just like, no, this didn't. I was heated. I was bothered because they had Issa looking stunning, but just defeated. She looked just defeated. And then he comes mocking TSA Bay and he gonna come back joking or whatever. Like I said, he's corny. He's fine, but he's corny. So he comes back, of course he'll go with her, right? So they head on down, they get there, they get there and they come across this painting titled Happiness Illustrated, which, pivots it helps to pivot the conversation in an organic way, right? And they start to talk about happiness. And Issa says that happiness is something that she's been thinking about a lot and how she used to seek it in other people, but now she believes it's a choice. And Lawrence kind of goes like, well, what do you mean by that? And she goes, well, with the things that I'm doing in my life now, I'm doing them to secure my happiness, to make sure that I feel happy, to make sure that I feel fulfilled. And Lawrence is like, he likes this new Issa. This looks good on her, right? Like, don't lose that. And so he asked her what she's working on, and Issa was just like, well, she's working on some smaller events since the block party so that she can actually get paid. Because I'm like, all the investors that invested into it, by the time everything was said and done, she crossed all her T's and dotted all her I's. All the money that she made had to go back to the investors, so she probably pocket little to nothing, right? But you better believe Condola got a check. So then Issa asked Lawrence if he's happy, and Lawrence is just like, well, he's working on it. And he says, like, with work, as far as work is concerned, he says that, he's learned that he's better as a team player and like facilitating and executing someone else's vision, but him coming up with the vision and being the boss necessarily isn't what he's good at. And he's learning to sort of lean into what he's good at, which I was just like, this is good to know about yourself, right? You can see the growth, the actual growth. So instead of them both pronouncing it, we see throughout this episode how they're actually grown, how they have actually grown as people. And just to be in a space where you understand teamwork, you understand how to work with a group and/or one other person, right? Of course, that helps you with your relationships because you understand how to talk and to communicate with the other person. So I was like, okay, bet. Like they're meeting each other at a time in which they both have grown from the places that they were in. And if they are going to enter something, we can give them the hope or the benefit of the doubt that it will actually work out this time because they're in these new spaces where they've learned about themselves. And even if it doesn't end up working out, then they just know that, hey, we gave it a shot in our better selves. However, we're still not right for each other. You know what I mean? So, so then I said, here comes Condola again. Like she blowing up his phone. Of course, he pulls it out like an idiot. I'm just like, girl, bye. Like, stop hitting up his phone. I think Issa asked him, like, is he gonna take it? And he's like, nah, like, it's whatever. So then they're at the end before the artwork closes. Lawrence sees a painting that resonates with him, right? And so he buys that. I think Issa buys a sweatshirt and they get up out of there. So on the Uber ride home, they pull up outside at Lawrence's place. Issa sees it and she's like, oh, like, it does look nice, but I bet it's still like a bachelor pad in there, whatever the case may be. And Lawrence he tells the Uber driver, like, can you wait 5 minutes? I want to go ahead and impress her, right? I'm gonna show her that my place is not a bachelor pad. He's like, I'm in my 30s, like I'm not 22. So they go inside his place. His place does look nice. Issa notices the couch that they had together, right? How she's like, you found the perfect place for it, right? And I believe when I remember there a few episodes ago when Lawrence and Condola was on it, I was like, is that the couch? But I wasn't sure because I was like, I remember them throwing it out, but I didn't know he went back and got it, which is beautiful, right? That he he kept it, right? He kept something. Which if you keeping stuff like that, a major something like that you and this other person purchased together and have had so many experiences with together, because they fucked on that couch, they did, they cuddled on this couch, they watched movies on this couch, they cried on this couch, they had that big argument on this couch, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's so many memories tied into an item like that. It's like that person, even when someone else is there, you're gonna always be thinking about that person, you know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting that he kept that couch. So then Issa, she asked to go to the restroom, and while she's in the restroom, here comes Condola. So Lawrence calls Condola back, and she kind of explains to him like, "Hey, like, can you come over tonight?" He tells her, "Well, I'm about to wrap up on something, and then I'll be over." So he comes back inside the place because he had stepped outside, being messy, trying to be secretive. And so he comes back inside. Issa's like, "Oh, that was Condola." He's like, "Yeah." So Issa's like, "Well, I guess I'll be on my way." So she starts to go towards the door. She pauses and she takes like this deep breath. I'm just like, "Oh, is she about to say something? Like, fuck you or what?" Of course, she turns around and what comes out of her mouth, she hits him with, "What if I want to stay?" And I was just like, ooh, what if you want to stay? That's the last thing I want to hear when I'm trying to get somebody up at my house, especially a man. So she says, "What if I want to stay?" And, Lawrence is fumbling over his words as usual. And I was like, he's really about to make this girl do all the work. So then Issa goes, "I don't want the night to end yet." And then this beautiful couplet of dialogue comes along, right? This beautiful coupling of dialogue comes. Lawrence says, "Tonight made me happy." And Issa goes, "You make me happy." And I was just like, one can say corny. I say like romantic. Like, it's beautiful, right? Like, sometimes you just need to say what it is. And we deem things like this corny, but I'm just like, we gotta take that label off of romance and love, especially Black love. Like, we gotta take that off because Black love is beautiful. So anyways, all love is beautiful. Black love is beautiful. But anyways, so then we get this trail shot that I absolutely love. It's to die for. As we see Issa, so Issa starts to, so the shot is on Issa, the camera's on Issa, and as she walks towards him, Lawrence comes into the frame. Like I was telling you earlier, there was like this juxtaposition of like, where like Lawrence would say something, Issa would say something, Lawrence would say something, Issa would say something, a bomb would drop, right? Someone would score a point, and then we would see them both in the shot. This was like, not only was Issa inviting him into her space, but the camera work allowed the story to tell that without them doing too much, because they could have had a wide with both of them into it, and then we saw Issa walk over and they tightened the shot, right, a close up, but it was already like a close on Issa in a shot by herself, in a frame by herself, and as she walks over, it's like this invitation of like, you can come into this space with me now. And I was just like, that's just like fucking stunning. That's beautiful, right? That's some good storytelling. And so so the Issa's like, so the Lawrence is like, "So stay." And I was just like, stay. Okay, let me get up. No, but that's basically what they did. Clothes came off and they started fucking. And it was literally like lovemaking, though. It was these two beautiful Black bodies making love. And it looked just beautiful on screen. I absolutely loved it. They kept trailing Issa's hand from like over Lawrence's butt up his back. And I was just like, yes. And so they fuck. They put each other to bed, and then they wake up the next morning. So Issa rolls over, she looks at Lawrence, and she's just like, "So San Francisco," and Lawrence is like, "I don't know," and I was just like, "It take a fuck? That's all it take? That's all it take?" And in this way, the writer, which is Natasha Rothwell, it was this illustration of, it was the show not tell, you know what I mean? It was like the give me one reason to stay here. Shout out to Tracy Chapman. It was like, give me one reason to stay here. and I'll turn right back around, you know what I mean? I'll stay, you know what I mean? Give me a reason not to leave, you know what I mean? That's what that was. And in that small little moment, it was like this holding out of hope of like, you're still gonna go. And he was just like, well, I don't know, you know what I mean? This has got me thinking about some other stuff. So then, let me wrap this up because we don't hit that 30, I think. So then, Issa gets up. She's ready to leave. She's ready to go. And Lawrence offers to give her a ride. She's like, nah, I got this. So she leaves. And, you know, usually this would be like the walk of shame, right? But Issa has like this sort of confident strut about her in the closing image. And we just see her walking through the streets of South LA, essentially, until she gets back to her place. And she just has like this glow on her face, like, you know, how Issa got her groove back, essentially. So that was basically the end of this episode, and now we have 2 episodes left, and we have to see what is in store for us at this coming Sunday in a few days, and then the final episode 2 Sundays from now. So I'm excited. I thought this was a beautiful episode. Natasha Rothwell is a great writer, a beautiful writer, a great talent. Right? She's a comedian. She's a perfect actress. Like she's really. She really takes her craft serious, you can tell. I love her and everything that I've seen her in. She's always like the funniest person in the room. And so, I enjoy her. And I enjoyed this episode that she wrote. And I enjoyed the episode let me shout out the director again, that Ava Burkowski directed, and that Natasha Rothwell wrote. It was beautiful. So yeah, again, if you are new here, please consider subscribing, as I am a growing YouTuber, and leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one, which I'm going to try to get up earlier. There was a lot going on this week, so after next week's episode, I want to try to get it up early Monday morning. So it's not days behind. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.